Your daily dose of sports talk is here. Highlights, interviews, and analysis. From the entertainment capital of the world, SportsWrap with Jason Page starts now.
Welcome to it, New Year's Eve, final show of 2025. Good to have you with us for the next 60 minutes. Got a lot to do. We'll talk some college football. We had a conversation with our friend Bill Bender of the Sporting News earlier in the week. We will play that for you coming up a little later on. We only had part of the conversation on Monday. The other part of it we saved for today. So we have that coming your way. Talk about the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal games, the Kyle Whittingham hire at Michigan. We'll get into that some as well. Kurt Helin will be here. Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Kurt Helin will be here. We'll get into it with him on the top NBA items of the day, partly which will concern what I'm getting into in the big story. We've got odds and ends a little later on as well. Sam Yarnell is off today. Much-deserved day off for him, and we'll see him in 2026. Programming note, as I said, this is our last show of 2025. On Thursday and Friday, you will get the best of 2025, SportsWrap's Year in Review, coming your way on Thursday and Friday. We aired this for Christmas Day and the day after Christmas. It's fantastic recap of everything from 2025, and it's amazing just how fast this year has gone by. Looking forward to bringing that to you on Thursday and Friday. But we start things out where we always do on this program, and that is the big story. And the big story starts out in the NFL. Stop me if you've heard this before. The Patriots have a problem with a player off the field. This one is Stefon Diggs, the team's leading receiver. Yesterday, we were all shocked when we saw the news come across that he is facing felony charges of strangulation and a misdemeanor charge of assault from an alleged incident that took place on December 2nd. Mike Reese, among many others, reporting on this for ESPN. So there was a motion hearing that took place yesterday at a district court in Massachusetts. What's crazy is his arraignment on this isn't scheduled for like 6 weeks from when the incident allegedly took place, and almost a month from now, 3 weeks from now, which will be Friday, January 23rd. Now, if you look at the calendar for the NFL, that is right before the start of the AFC Championship game. So the timing there, not optimal if you are a Patriots fan or Patriots management. But it seems to me like the NFL is probably not going to do anything with this between now and the end of the season, because they go and do investigations on their own. So unless he's jailed by Massachusetts authorities, which he's probably not going to be, he'll be out on bail and he'll be able to go travel with the team and do what he has to do because it's his job. As crazy a story as this is, and I'll get into the details of the story in a moment, I don't think it affects anything. Other than maybe being a distraction, which if you know anything about the NFL, teams loathe distractions. But he's their leading receiver. They're not going to take him off the field. Whether that would be the right thing to do or not under these circumstances. And if you were in any other job in America, almost any other job in America, I won't say what some of the others are, but in almost any other job in America, you'd be pulled from your job. You'd be shelved. Maybe suspended without pay, suspended with pay, whatever it may be. You would not be at work if this was hanging over your head. Only in the NFL, though, and a couple other places can you get away with that. So according to a police report, a woman went to police on December 16th, shared she was working as a private chef on the day this incident allegedly took place. When Diggs entered her unlocked bedroom and allegedly smacked her across the face, and then after they had discussed money owed to her. According to police, she said she attempted to push Diggs away. And again, this is from the Mike Reese story at ESPN. When he allegedly tried to choke her with his elbow around her neck and later threw her onto the bed and said lies when she said she had not been paid. She left her position after the alleged assault to stay with a friend. When the woman went to December 9th to get her property. Diggs referred her to his assistant, who told the woman she had to sign a non-disclosure agreement before she'd be paid. She did not sign it. And the woman decided on December 16th she didn't want to file charges, and then on December 22nd she did. Diggs' attorney says the allegations are, quote, unsubstantiated. Again, we'll wait and see what the NFL decides to do. I don't think anything's going to happen with it this season. Move away from that. Big story item number 2 today. This is not going to be a popular opinion. And for anybody who watches this show, knows Sam and myself are as big a LeBron fans as you get. I won't say we're sick of fans. And I think what I'm about to say will prove that. But we are as big LeBron fans as there is. What we're watching with him at age 41, 42, doing what he's doing, you're never going to see it again, so enjoy it. But that being said, I'm going to say something right now that I didn't think I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago. This should be the final season for LeBron James. And it's not because he isn't still incredibly athletic for his age. It's not because he can't still play the game. It's because I don't get the sense that for long enough stretches of time, he wants to play the game the way it needs to be played in order for him to justify the amounts of minutes that he wants to play. Go and watch him now. The numbers still add up. Oh, look at him over the last 8 games, averaging like 25, 7, and 8 or something like that. Great. But he's only playing one side of the floor. And there are these moments in games where he completely disappears on the defensive end. And then he'll have one, dynamic play on defense. And we go, oh my God, LeBron. But the fact of the matter is, he simply cannot give the effort needed to justify the number of minutes he's going to want to play. And that, look, given what he's done in his career, he has the right to ask to want to play. But I don't think you can win with him anymore as even a starter on your team. If you wanted to play 22 minutes a night and come off the bench, which he's never going to do, it'd be a different story. But after watching him since he's come back from injury, and now seeing the full LeBron sort of story, I think he should walk off the stage at the end of this year while he still has all the adoration and love of fans and remember him still being able to do these things at this age. Because I don't think you can win a championship with him as any sort of focal point anymore. Big story item number 2. We'll get into that further with Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. He joins us next to talk all things hoops. Welcome back to this New Year's Eve edition of SportsWrap. Again, a reminder, we're off Thursday and Friday. I mean, we'll be here in spirit, but I won't physically be here. I'll be sitting by a pool. Well, no, it's not even warm enough to sit by a pool in Palm Springs. It's going to be raining for days. We have the best of 2025, SportsWrap Best of 2025 for you on Thursday and Friday. Back on Monday to recap all the college football and NFL and get you set for the playoffs and Black Monday. It'll be great. Let's talk some NBA. There he is, the great Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Hangs out with us on the program because nothing will stop us from having these conversations.
I would hope not.
Nope, nothing will stop us. I'm going to play with poker chips while I sit here during this segment. So if you hear this weird clacking sound, it's just
okay.
Me. It's my nervous thing.
Are you playing while you're in Palm Springs? Is that the deal?
Maybe. Let's talk about the Lakers because since we last talked, we had JJ Redick go off in a press conference. Then he kind of walked it back a little bit, talking about the lack of effort on defense, going to be an uncomfortable practice. I'm talking about guys not committing, not buying in on the defensive side of the ball. And then they have this game against Sacramento, and oh my God, everything's great. It's Shangri-La. And then the reality is it's Sacramento. And they play Detroit last night, and they get absolutely torched by this young, athletic, hungry team. And by the time it was done, I mean, they hung around for about 2.5 quarters of that game. By midway, end of the third quarter, you could start to see what was happening there. Is there anything that can drastically change the fate of the Lakers. I don't even know what their record is. It doesn't really matter because it's a fake number based on what we're watching this team currently be right now, especially without Austin Reeves. Is there anything that could dramatically improve this that makes them a factor in the second half of the season?
Not really, no. Like the changes they need to make are more systemic, and frankly, it's something Mark Walter, the new owner, really has to step back and look at, because what are we saying? They don't have enough two-way players. They need, look, the NBA is trending towards what you saw with Detroit and you see in Houston, you see in these
San Antonio, Oklahoma City, yeah.
Right. Long, athletic guards who can play on both ends and shoot a little bit. You get a star. You need your Cade Cunningham. But then you surround Cade with guys who complement whatever you're going to do. Indiana did this last year. All right, we're going to play with Tyrese Halliburton. We're going to play up tempo. He doesn't defend, but we're going to put everything around him to maximize how we want to play with him. The Lakers need to do that with Luka. The blueprint's already there. I mean, Dallas went to the finals with him a couple years ago. They've got to get long, athletic wing defenders. They've got to get a running rim protector. They're Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford kind of guy. The kind of shifts they need to make are not the kind of thing you can just, hey, we go get this guy at the deadline and it's all better. It's not going to be all better. There are moves they might be able to make that make them better, but I don't know that move exists in a reasonable world for them. And the bigger picture issue is for them, this isn't new. For a few years, we've been, man, they need more shooting. Man, they need more length. Man, they need more two-way guys. They need. This isn't some secret. The league has not quickly evolved on a pivot to this. And the Lakers have been behind this. And Mark Walter's got to sit back and say, all right, we keep making the same mistakes over and over. How do we fix that?
Is LeBron just going to go with the flow and just go through this whole thing this season, no matter how bad it gets, and just go through it? Or would he ask out?
No, two things. He would not ask out mid-season. He's never done that, and I don't think he's going to do
First
that.
time for everything.
Yeah, at this point in his career, I don't think he's going to add that to his legacy. The other problem he runs into, it's the same one that Giannis Antetokounmpo is.
How do you make it work?
Yeah. I make $54 million. I want to only go to a couple specific places. There's no way to get there. Like you can't just get him to Golden State or New York or Cleveland or where Cleveland's over the second apron, so they're really hands are tied. There's just no trade to be made. So I don't think let's put it this way. I would be shocked if a year from now he's on the Lakers. If next season he's on the Lakers, I'm done.
I made the argument today in the big story that this should be his last year. Because while we see the glimpses and flashes, unless he wants to be a guy that came off the bench and played 18 minutes and 22 minutes and gave everything he had for 22 minutes a night, which he's not going to do, I only see it in flashes and in glimpses. And I hate to say it, he's not that guy anymore for those long stretches of time. He can only play one end of the floor. He can play defense for a possession and then takes 5 possessions off. That's just where he is. One more thing. I know this is going to be a contrarian view, and I want to just look at your face as I say this.
Oh, no.
Nico Harrison might have been onto something. If the idea of getting rid of Luka Doncic was, you can't win a champion. And this is what I always argued the argument for Nico was. You can't win a championship when your biggest star is this bad and lackadaisical and lacking the effort on defense that you had to trade him. Because even if everybody thinks he's this great offensive, once-in-a-generational talent offensively, you can't win with somebody like that as the focal point, the hub of your team. You can't win with a guy like that. Maybe Nico Harrison wasn't as dumb as we think.
I tend to think you just have to build a very specific team around Luka. Again, the same way you had to around Tyrese Halliburton, who is not a great defender. You have to be very specific with what you're going to build around Luka, and the Lakers don't have it. Their bigger problem is going to be Austin Reeves has proved he's a number 2, but Austin doesn't defend. Now, even if LeBron leaves and you shift literally everything else, if you've got Luka and Austin as your 2 primary ball handlers, it's sort of the Knicks problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at some point, Brunson and Towns become the challenge, right? Can you defend well enough with those two? And I think they can, by the way. I think they're the best team in the East right now. And they'd be my pick to come out of it. Mm-hmm. But it's not easy. It is not easy if you can target guys like that, it becomes a real challenge. And the Lakers are going to keep Austin this summer. So they've got to build specifically around that to make up for that. And it is going to be really difficult to do in a West where Houston is young and San Antonio is young. And frankly, Oklahoma City is still young. It's like, it's a mountain.
I want to talk a little bit about the team that we watched dismantle the Lakers last night, and that being Detroit. We'll get to them coming up on the other side because I also want to get to some Eastern Conference stuff with our friend Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com, who hangs out with us today. Did you do the year-end piece yet? Can we promote it?
Yeah, the year-end piece it will be by the time, yes, it will be up by the time you read this. So,
that's what I'm saying. All right. Check out his work over at NBCSports.com with Pro Basketball Talk. More with him in a moment. More NBA conversation on Wednesdays, because that's what we do on Wednesdays on the show, with Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com, who is so kind to grace us with his presence. There you go. All I wanted was a reaction, and I got one. So, the team that buried the Lakers last night, the Pistons, you say the Knicks are still your favorite to come out of the East. What could change that calculus for you when we talk about Detroit, especially based on what we were watching last night?
Look, Detroit is this close. I think two things. I believe you have to learn how to win in the NBA. I believe you in the playoffs, like it's a slightly different game and they just don't have the experience. The other part of that is, as great as Cade is, you have to have a secondary and third, frankly, offensive shot creator that you can really trust at a high level in a big moment. We look at the Bucks when they won in 21. Giannis Antetokounmpo was the sun, the moon, and the stars, right? It's a heliocentric offense completely around Giannis, but Chris Middleton was an all-star. Like they had a couple other guys. They had Drew Holiday, right? They've got other guys who can do some ball handling, knock down shots, be creative, and defend. The Pistons need that second guy. It's why everybody keeps pointing to them trading for Lauri Markkanen, except Utah doesn't seem to want to give up on him. They don't seem to want to keep their pick this year, which is a whole different discussion. Whatever happens, they need to find that second guy and either develop or trade for that second guy. But I think they're this close, and I think that they have the assets. They are in the position. They are the team perfectly positioned to go all in on whoever, if it's not Markkanen, whoever that guy becomes.
The Celtics have been surprisingly good to a lot of people, and now there's talk of Jason Tatum coming back. If they get Tatum back and can get him ramped up enough by late in the season, could they be the fly in the ointment in the East?
Yes, absolutely, because Jaylen Brown has proven he is
that guy.
He might be fifth on my if I had to make an MVP ballot right now, and if all first team, he might be fifth, for the fifth, like he'd be in that mix. They've gotten great play. Keita in the middle has been like the guy I thought that has stepped up and given them what they needed in the paint more than expected. Hauser has been great. The role players, Derek White has been, again, last night in particular, but in general has been brilliant. If you can, it's not hard to fit Tatum back into this, right? It's not like you're reinventing the wheel and sliding this guy. Like he's already been in the system. So honestly, they are a completely dangerous team in an East where the teams at the top, as much as I like the Knicks, have flaws that you can go at. Boston's in that mix right now, as is. Like just plug in Tatum, as is. This team is a legitimate threat.
I'll throw another one at you, and again, this is prisoner to the moment stuff because I watched them last night. That Philadelphia-Memphis game, and I know you didn't get to see it, you were traveling, was a banger. Yeah. And it was great because it was vintage Ja Morant. It was Ja Morant of 3 years ago, and it was Joel Embiid of 3 years ago. And watching these two go back and forth, and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, hits the game-winning three. if all the pieces are healthy in there, and again, that's a huge if, and we know that with health in the Sixers, is that another, I wouldn't, if they're a 7 seed,
oh God, yeah,
I don't want to play them. If that group that I saw last night is on the court, I don't want to see that team.
They're capable of dialing it up for those moments, aren't they? And by the way, Edgecombe, 16 in the fourth and OT? What a find he has been.
He's one of the best clutch players in the league this year.
And by the way, the All-Star voting, the first round of All-Star fan voting came out, and Tyrese Maxey was number 2 in the East. That one surprised me. Like, I know how good Tyrese Maxey was. He would have been on, one of my ballots for a start. I didn't think that his popularity with fans in general was at that level, but he has been phenomenal, and he got there. That team is so close. And I agree. I just can't trust them to. It's not just that they can't dial it up for a game or two, and make a series tight. But do you really think 6 out of, they can do that 4 times in 7 games? I'm just not. You got to show me. You just actually have to do it at this point, right? You not to go all Missouri here, but show me.
Fair enough. One last one, and let's kind of finish with save the best for last. Oklahoma City is 0-3 against the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
They're going to play again on Friday night, I think.
That's right.
They play again over on Prime Video. And I'm at some point, this isn't just it's sort of an aberration. It's one game. They're 0-3, and in the last 2, frankly, it really wasn't even that competitive, which is crazy to say about this OKC team. Are the Spurs just that team? And the other thing I'll ask is this. While the Spurs are great against the Thunder, we also see them have these letdown moments where I watch them lose against the Jazz, who, by the way, are playing much better basketball lately, much more inspired basketball.
Yeah.
But I mean, are the Spurs just the kryptonite to the Thunder here?
I think they might be. Every team has a matchup that's tough for them. San Antonio has, again, when we were talking about this in the last segment, the depth and length and defenders, and it helps if you've got wing defenders. They've got good wing defenders, but if they can afford to be aggressive because Wemby's behind them, right? It just changes the dynamic. That team just seems to mess with what Oklahoma City wants to do, and with Shea's game in particular, getting into the paint and kicking out in a way that nobody else does. And I think in a 7-game series right now, Oklahoma City would figure it out, but they really do.
Really? You think so?
I think in a long enough series, they'd put it together. But it would take that's the team that really gives them the most trouble. And why, it's what I think, do those wins not have San Antonio going, yeah, we're good on Giannis? We don't know.
It has to.
Why would blame
it? Has
why
to.
Would,
It
why
has
would we
to.
build this up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has to have them feeling that way. Why do you go and part ways with all the chips and all the no. I absolutely don't make that move if I'm San Antonio.
Yeah. No, so I think they're right there, but at the end of the day, I still think Oklahoma City just knows how to do it and find another gear. They had a slump in the middle of the season. It was bound to happen. I'm not stressed about them too much.
The Spurs,
and by
to
the
me,
way, you're not kidding about Utah. Keontae George is great.
Yeah.
They got Markman back. They've got guys there, and they're without Walker Kessler for the year, who's good. Remember, their top pick, though, is top 8 protected.
Yes.
If they're not in the top 8, the Thunder get it.
That's just what the Thunder need, or more assets. The one thing I'll say, and we got to go, so I'll get the last word here. The Spurs look like they do one thing with Oklahoma City that I haven't seen anybody else do, and that is create doubt in that team.
Yeah.
You just see it on the court. Kurt, we got to go. Happy New Year, my friend.
You too, my man. I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you in 2026.
Welcome back to this New Year's Eve edition of Sports Wrap. Let's talk college football now with Bill Bender of the Sporting News, who does a terrific job on all things college football, helped us focus our attention on the College Football Playoff Quarterfinals. The one and only Bill Bender of the Sporting News, who was so kind to join me for the weekend edition of Sports Wrap over the weekend, because there was breaking news with Kyle Whittingham. At that point, it was just sort of reported, but not really a done deal. But now it is a done deal. Kyle Whittingham, the new head coach at Michigan. Let's talk to him about that. Also get a preview on Miami and Ohio State in the first of 4 quarterfinal games on Wednesday night, New Year's Eve. Bill Bender, happy holidays, my friend.
Hey, happy holidays. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, please. Anytime. We don't need these subtle politeness things, these niceties. We're well past that. Kyle Whittingham, we talked about a little bit for the weekend show. Now that you've heard him talk about why he took this job, what stood out to you?
I just think it's the opportunity to get to the college football playoff, and perhaps, I don't know if Michigan will be national championship caliber in the next 5 to 6 years, but he's a coach that had opportunities at Utah, and they were always fighting for respect. When you go 10-2 at Michigan, you get the benefit of the doubt. You end up in the college football playoff, and he has a ton of experience. I think he'll bring a physicality to that defense, and I know that's a cliche, but you watch his teams play over the years, they're not an easy out, and I don't think Michigan will be either.
Is it the grown-ups just being back in the room too?
A lot. I think so. And even though, he is 66, people will harp on that age factor and say it'll be used in negative recruiting. But, the portal's part of this game now. Curt Cignetti's arguably the best coach in college football right now, and he's 64. Nick Saban was that was toward the end of his career where we were talking about his age. But I think Kyle Whittingham, this is a good challenge for him. And his time at Utah expired one way or the other. And it sounds like that was – not a short-term breakup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sam, I see Sam's facial expressions tell me something is coming.
Well, I get it, Bill. I understand that it's a step up for Kyle Whittingham personally, but I still can't wrap my head around this entire situation. Why would Kyle Whittingham announce his retirement? Okay, all well and good. You're retired. You're 66 years old, like you said. Makes sense. Enjoy, right? Enjoy the rest of your life. Live out, doing whatever you want. Instead, he comes back, signs a 5-year contract that will take him through his age 71 season to be the not even top 20th highest paid coach in college football. Make it make sense, Bill.
I think Michigan made it make sense for him. Hey, just come coach here. And like I said, for these guys are competitors. They're wired like that. For Michigan, it's home run or closest thing to a home run, like a ground rule double at least, because they had this happen this late in the cycle. They had a complete embarrassment to the university, and you land one of the most well-respected coaches in college football and when we do those coach rankings every year, he's in the top 15. I've done them at Sporting News for 15 years, and he's never been outside the top 25.
Miami, Ohio State. Let's talk about it. The line hasn't moved much. At least I don't think so, Sam. It's 9.5. It feels like it's been that from the get-go. 41.5, by the way, the total, for those of you who are considering wagering on it. As you've had time to sort of marinate in this matchup, what kind of stands out to you, and give me the argument for Miami on New Year's Eve?
Well, the undercurrent is Miami's defensive line is going to dominate this game, and offensively, they should be able to run the football a little bit. But I just think we're undervaluing Ohio State so much in this matchup, a team that hasn't allowed more than 16 points in a game, a team that if they get it blocked and you give Julian Sayin time, he's going to find Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. I know we're going to have a lot of nostalgia about the 2003 BCS championship game. I've got a couple pieces coming up on that later this week. But, I just think this is a matchup that the Buckeyes are built to win. And Miami will hang around, but I got it around 31-14 Ohio State.
So you're saying comfortable cover.
Enough. Like maybe, it's 9.5, so I think they'll win by double digits and maybe 14 to 17 points. One of my friends was like 27-13. Also would make sense. This is a very good Miami defense, though. And Julian Sayin against Texas, Michigan, Indiana, the numbers aren't out of this world. So I guess that's the case you're looking for.
Sam, go ahead.
Bill, from a draft perspective with this game, assuming it is the end of Miami season, because I'm in the same boat as you, I do think Ohio State wipes the floor with them to an extent. What does it mean for Miami looking back on this season? Do they consider it a success? What is Mario Cristobal's future like there? And what does it do for a lot of players who are leaving this team? Ruben Bain, Carson Beck.
I think you're right. It's got to be a success. It's New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, and Miami's playing in a bowl game that matters. And they don't have the best bowl history since that loss to Ohio State in the BCS championship game. So, I mean, for Bain, it's an opportunity to flash, and I've made the case that he could be the number one pick in the NFL draft. I don't know that he will be that number one pick. And then Carson Beck, works into a day two. I don't know if he'll get in the first round, Sam. I just don't see it. But with him, this late season stretch since the SMU loss, he hasn't turned the ball over, and it's been pretty good.
If the Giants had that top overall pick, Bain could have been the pick.
Oh, I thought so too. I mean, their opinions vary, but
Yeah.
I think Bain is a guy that could be the number one pick if he has a good combine, good game here.
Even if it's the Raiders, though, and you need a quarterback, I don't know.
Right.
That's just, again, the Raiders can screw up a ham sandwich. So we got more with Bill and the College Football Playoff Quarterfinals next. Let's talk some college football on this Wednesday edition of the show. The great Bill Bender hangs out with us from the Sporting News. College football playoff season is here. We've already discussed the Wednesday game. Let's get into the Thursday matchup. Thursday matchups, I should say, as we talk about this quarterfinal round. So, Bill, as you look into these, other three games, excluding Miami and Ohio State, where do you see the best potential for an upset?
I mean, Oregon, Texas Tech isn't an upset to me. That's more of a coin flip game either way. I mean, when you have his line that short and Texas Tech is the higher seed and an underdog, it's kind of like a wash to me because of their defense being as good as it is. I just look at that independently as a really good matchup. So, answer would be Alabama. Can Alabama beat Indiana? And I think you'll know early whether it's possible. If Indiana can run down their throat and do what they've done to a lot of opponents this season, it'll be a blowout. If they can't run the ball and Alabama can't run the ball, then you could have one of those rock fights to 20.
Good. I think rock fight to 20 is that's kind of the way I'm viewing it. That's where I love the under in this game at 48. I love it. Go under 48.5, Sam.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. However, there is a piece of me that's wanted to go contrarian with all these totals and go under in Oregon, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss, Georgia, and over in Indiana, Alabama. But who knows? Well, I got a couple of days to figure that out still, or a couple of hours at least. Ole Miss, Georgia, Bill, is this as simple as Kirby Smart, the tenure that he has at Georgia, the prestige that he has in terms of playing postseason football compared to an Ole Miss team that is still, reeling from the loss of Lane Kiffin?
Well, I mean, you go back to that first matchup, neither team could get a stop into the third quarter. It was just back and forth. They couldn't stop Trinidad Chambliss, and Ole Miss couldn't stop Gunnar Stockton at all. 4 touchdown passes in that game. And I think we're going to really find out if Lane Kiffin not having him makes a difference in this game. This Georgia team played a lot of close games. They're in the Sugar Bowl. They obviously lost that matchup in the Sugar Bowl last year. And Kirby's done a fantastic job. And I know, it's Georgia, but I think as compared to some of those national title teams he's had, the coaching job he's done with this team, they're not as talented as those super teams in those 2 national title years, and yet this team could be in position to win. And if they do, then you get, that potential for obviously a huge matchup with the Buckeyes if the Buckeyes win.
Sam, go ahead, double up.
All right, Bill, let's talk Oregon and Texas Tech a little bit more. I know we talked about it being a coin flip, but this is an Oregon team that hasn't traveled a ton this year, and this is a Texas Tech team that has an offense that we've been talking about all season long, and a defense led by a guy who we thought could potentially contend for the Heisman. Going into this game, do you think that Oregon will sleepwalk at all? Does this at all feel like a game where we could potentially favor Texas Tech in a first quarter or a first half?
Oh, I think this game could play out a lot like Texas and Arizona State did last year. where Arizona State took that to double overtime, was a 4th down pass to Matthew Golden away from winning the game. And they played and represented the Big 12 very well, like I think Texas Tech will in this game. So while we're all on Oregon and believe that Oregon can win this game in convincing fashion, this is a very good Texas Tech team. They haven't been challenged. I know they lost to Arizona State, but they didn't have Baron Morton in that game. And it's not like Arizona State ran all over them. And that was on the road.
Can I ask you a transfer portal question?
Sure.
And not any on a particular player. I shouldn't even say transfer portal question, but more a question about this bowl season and how it's played out with guys deciding to sit out and guys missing games. And I bring this up in the context I was watching UConn and Army play. And I'm watching these guys, the quarterback for UConn decides to sit out. Their star wide receiver is going to go into the transfer portal. He decided to sit out because he's getting ready for the draft. And I'm watching these games as you've watched throughout this entire bowl season, because I've only, peeked into games here and there. How detrimental to the bowl season, how much more detrimental is it becoming with guys sitting out and opting to just not even play in these games? And what does it mean long term?
Oh, it's detrimental to my picks against the spread for sure. It's impossible to pick these things. I had a horrible
trust
Saturday.
Me, I know. I got crushed on UConn.
I got crushed Saturday, period. And, you try not to stress out too much about that, but it hurts. I mean, then again, you have matchups like the Pop-Tarts Bowl, for example. That was a great game because guys decided to play. Haynes King was in there. BYU was fully engaged into that game, and it was a really fun game to watch. And I would say the Rate Bowl with New Mexico, Minnesota. I watched that one all the way through. What a great game. Great finish. So
I actually watched it.
I think it's 50-50 now would be my answer. You have duds like you described with Army and UConn, and I had that on in the background, not as long. And then you have great bowl games, and hopefully we'll get some here as we get into, January.
Is Dabo Swinney, has it just worn out its welcome? I mean, my God, that game against Penn State was horrible.
Well, some of it's weather but this is Clemson, right? Clemson should be able to go up there and win that game. There has been a lot of erosion there, and it's been steady. Like, I feel like they've fought the good fight, and, they did win the ACC, played in the playoff last year, but it's the acceptance to me that they're just not those teams that I watched beat Alabama in the championship game. And I always say, where's T. Higgins? Where's Sammy Watkins? Where's ETN? Where's those CJ Spiller even? They haven't had those dynamic offensive players since really Trevor Lawrence and that group left.
Bill Bender does a terrific job all year long with the sporting news, and he has been great with us all year long on college football. Always appreciate you, my friend. Have a happy new year, and we will talk to you next week after these quarterfinal games.
Anytime. Thanks for having me on, guys. Happy New Year.
We're coming back with more Sports Wrap on this New Year's Eve. Don't go anywhere. Just about time to put the wraps on this baby for 2025. Wow. We only get to say that once a year. Wraps for the year. A couple of reminders before we go. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we will be off on Thursday and Friday. You will get Sports Wrap's Best of 2025, or I should say Sports Wrap's Year in Review show. Everything from all the major sports from the year 2025. We even get into the sports betting news from 2025, of which there was plenty. So make sure to watch that. Part 1 on Thursday, Part 2 on Friday. A couple other reminders. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast. It's available on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon. Anywhere you get a podcast, you can listen to this show. It works just as well as an audio companion. Monday through Friday, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms. We also have the Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel, which we are putting a lot of work into. If you have not checked this out yet, go and check it out. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel has the TV version of the show, Monday through Friday. We also have the Best of 2025, the Year in Review show there. You can watch the show commercial-free Monday through Friday on our Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. Also there is Sports Wrap Shorts. These are usually about a minute long, They cover the top stories in sports, the top games every day and night. We are on top of it with SportsWrap Shorts. I put a lot of work into this. So if you can, go and subscribe to our SportsWrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. See SportsWrap Shorts. They're also available on our TikTok, SportsWrap Jason Page, and on our Instagram, SportsWrap Jason Page. And without any further delay on this final show of 2025, time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends. Christian McCaffrey. We're going to do some NFL here in odds and ends today because we didn't do much of it today. The big story in the NFL is Christian McCaffrey. And if you listen to the show, it might have been last week I said this to Sam. I said, he's going to burn out before they get to the finish line in this postseason. The 49ers are in an incredible position right now. If they win on Saturday night against the Seahawks, Niners right now 1.5-point underdogs at home in Santa Clara against the Seahawks. They will be the 1 seed. They will not have to leave Santa Clara for the rest of the football season, as long as that may be for them. And even in that position, there is a chance that Christian McCaffrey does not play this weekend. Sat out Tuesday's practice. He was clearly banged up towards the end of the game. Back stiffness. They were working on it late in the game in that matchup on Sunday night against the Bears. And I went and I said, I got to go look at this. Because this is the problem for the 49ers. And this is and you know, we get into load management when we talk about the NBA. Well, let's talk about it in the NFL for a moment. Do you know who has the most touches in the NFL? And the folks at StatNews do a great job with this stuff. Do you know who has the most touches in the NFL this season? Probably won't surprise you when I say Christian McCaffrey. But here's what will surprise you. Christian McCaffrey has the most touches by 46 over the next closest guy. 46! And that's Jonathan Taylor. Christian McCaffrey has 399 touches through the first 16 games of this season. Jonathan Taylor, 353. Bijan Robinson, who we think of as a touch machine. I would have thought, Bijan Robinson would be number 2. I was actually surprised he was number 3. Bijan Robinson has touched it 51 less times than Christian McCaffrey, who has a lot more tread on the tires. And when you see that, you can understand why, I believe, by the time the 49ers get to the finish line, Christian McCaffrey may not be there with them. Because they've simply worked him so hard this season. And it's great that he's been healthy throughout this entire campaign. But now you're finding out the price that you pay for all of that wear and tear in those 399 touches. Will he be there for this team when it needs him most? They need the rest. They have to figure out a way to win this game, and they might have to do it without Christian McCaffrey because they need to get him as much rest as possible as we head into this postseason and make the road as easy as possible for him as we go into this postseason. That is item number 1. Item number 2, the Steelers. Remember TJ Watt? The Steelers are playing for a division title and a trip to the postseason this weekend against the Ravens. TJ Watt still dealing with that lung issue. Well, he might return in time for this AFC title, this AFC North title game. Mike Tomlin says he's optimistic he will have back the team's best pass rusher. We will see. They certainly could use him. That is a huge game this weekend for both of those franchises, really. Because there's talk John Harbaugh could be out of work if this doesn't go well. There's talk it could be the end of the Mike Tomlin era. Could be the end for both of these guys. Who knows? Could be the last game for Aaron Rodgers. Although I still don't believe that. I think Aaron Rodgers is coming back next year. We're out of time. I got to go. Thanks to Sam Yarnell, Bill Bender, Kurt Helin, all of you for watching all throughout 2025. Have a safe and happy new year. We'll see you back here in 2026. I'm Jason Page. Bye-bye. Hi there, I'm Jason Page. You like what you're watching? Subscribe. We've got SportsWrap shorts on this channel. We've got the show. We've got clips from the show. What else do you have to do? You probably follow a lot of other things that aren't half as they're not half as exciting as this show is. So what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button, follow the channel, watch the content. Bye.